You know when I said, would you like people to treat you as would you want people to treat you as they want to be treated? And you said, yes, you do. Do you know where I got that from? I got it from Jesus. And Jesus got it from the Old Testament. So what you're saying is your heart and your mind recognize the truth of Jesus's words. Would you feel that it's justice? You'd feel it's unjust. Now what happens if someone did it because you were a Muslim? Would you feel that that was unjust? Right, so Islam has taught you something that is unjust. Do you see? Don't you believe as a Muslim that the one who created the world also gave you the book? So how can the book contradict the author of the world? Would you like to have a conversation?
Yeah, from last week, yes.
Okay, let's go over there and we'll have a conversation. So we gotta try and stand here because this is a bicycle lane. Oh, actually, let's stand here. There we go, up against the fence. Yeah. If you just wait for the camera a second.
Okay, we're rolling, guys.
Okay. So what I mean, obviously I'm known as Bob. What are you? Zaid. Okay, Zaid. What is it that you want to talk about, bro?
So, I've seen a couple of videos from last week.
Yeah.
One of them on the hadith on the Christians and the Jews.
Yeah. So
blood money.
Yeah.
Blood money. And I've seen one of your videos about the Qur'an promotes shirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one. So I just want to clarify them for you. So
Which one are we going to talk about first?
let's start
Or do you want to?
let's start with the blood money.
Let's start with the blood money. Okay. Do you know what argument I was making last week? Could you rephrase my argument in a single sentence?
They're a second citizen. Their class is.
Yeah, Islamic law.
Yeah.
So the argument that I was making last week was that the Qur'an and Islamic sources teach Christophobic attitudes, and that Muslims under Sharia law have a higher legal status than Christians under Sharia law. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So under Sharia law, as you know, in the blood money, diya, which is paid instead of qisas, the idea is that if a Christian is killed by a Muslim, the Muslim's life can't ever be forfeit. Okay? But if a Muslim killed a Muslim, the Muslim's life could be forfeit if certain circumstances are reached. But if a Muslim killed a Christian, his life could never be forfeit.
What do you mean by that?
So for instance, if a Muslim kills a Muslim, the Muslim family can demand qisas in revenge and have the Muslim's life executed. But if a Muslim killed a Christian, the Christian family could never demand qisas and could never demand execution of the Muslim, because and so this creates a double standard. Now that's also explained in diya, in blood money. So if me and you were both killed, let's say we walked out of this park to get a cup of tea together, and someone ran us over and we were living inside a Muslim state, the blood money that would be paid for you is more than the blood money that would be paid for me, right? By the same person, okay? Now, would you agree that if we passed laws like that against Muslims, that would be Islamophobic?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. So why is it not Christophobic and an apartheid system when Muslims pass laws like that against Christians?
I'm not sure really about that one, but what I do want to talk about is, so with the blood money, I mean, in an Islamic state, it wouldn't really occur that much because killing is obviously a big thing. So I think if it's a big thing and the punishment it has for it, it would deter people from doing it away. And well, we Muslims believe that the sanctity of a Muslim is greater than a non-Muslim.
The sanctity of a Muslim is greater than a non-Muslim. That's what you believe?
Yeah.
And you believe that because Islam teaches you that?
That's what it says, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And that, my friend, is an apartheid ideology. Now, if someone said to you that because you're Asian, your life is worth less than mine because I'm white, how would you feel about that?
Left out.
You'd feel left out. Any other feelings?
Treated different.
Treated different. Would you feel that it's justice? You'd feel it's unjust. Now, what happens if someone did it because you were a Muslim? Would you feel that that was unjust? Right, so Islam has taught you something that is unjust. Do you see? Now, do you think that as a human being we should treat people as we want to be treated, or that we should treat people differently to how we want to be treated?
The same.
You want to be treated the same. And if you remember last week I said you were a good man. And I want to say it again, you are a good man, right? But you're already more in favour of Jesus' teachings than you are in favour of Muhammad and the companions' teachings, right? So if you recognise that Christianity is better than Islam, does it not make more sense to follow Christianity over Islam?
I mean, these are just some laws.
But are they fair laws?
The way you're talking about now, no.
No.
But that could change if I study furthermore and find a different reason, I guess. But if there isn't, then no. Then obviously it's
right.
discriminatory.
And so what I would say to you, bro, is that if you recognise that there is something intrinsically unfair about Islamic law, right? If you recognise that it's intrinsically unfair, then it's on you to pursue the good. You have a moral responsibility to find the truth and to follow a great moral example. And if Jesus is that better moral example and his teaching is superior to Islamic teaching, then it's on you to follow Christ's teaching than to follow Islamic teaching. Do you see why I'm saying that? Now, my point to you is, bro, and I want to show it to you, yeah? Okay? That, you know, these aren't lies, I'm not making it up. So let me just quote to you a fatwa given by Islamic scholars. And obviously these ulama know better than we do. Yeah? Okay. So let me just show you what they say. Okay, bear with us 1 second. So I'm going to give you my reference. My reference is from islamweb.net. Okay, and that's a fatwa service. You know, it's a place where Muslims go to get fatwas from scholars. Okay, so the question is about the penalty for killing disbelievers, for killing non-Muslims. Okay, this is the question. What does it mean that no believer should be killed in retribution for killing a disbeliever? Okay, so what it says, the scholars say, yeah, and I quote, scholars held different views regarding the killing of a Muslim in qisas, retaliation for killing, right? In qisas, retaliation for killing a disbeliever. We've previously clarified this in Fatwa 92261. Okay, now let's go to 92261 and let's hear what it says. So the fatwa says, after a very long question, right, it says this. First of all, you should know that a Muslim should not be killed for killing a belligerent non-Muslim according to the consensus of scholars. According to the view of the majority of scholars, a Muslim should not be killed against a free non-Muslim under Muslim rule. The evidence about this is in the saying of the Prophet, a Muslim should not be killed for killing a non-Muslim, that you can find in At-Tirmidhi. Right? So those are your scholars quoting your Muslim sources telling you that if you killed me and in a Muslim state, that your life shouldn't be forfeit. Now that's unfair, because if you killed a Muslim in a Muslim state, the Muslim family could demand your life. Now, do you think that Islam was here to bring injustice? Right. But we've demonstrated and you've recognized that Islam is bringing injustice. Right. Then follow your conscience, brother. Be a courageous man and say to yourself, I want to follow a big example. You know when I said that you should, you know when I said, would you like people to treat you as you, would you want people to treat you as they want to be treated? And you said, yes, you do. Do you know where I got that from? I got it from Jesus. And Jesus got it from the Old Testament. So what you're saying is your heart and your mind recognize the truth of Jesus' words. So the question is, if you recognize the truth somewhere, should you follow it? And do you recognize the truth of Jesus' words?
I'm not really sure. I haven't really...
Well, let's look at it. Jesus said that you should treat others as you want to be treated. Is that a good way to live? So do you recognize the truth of that? So do you think that you should become a disciple of Jesus?
I don't know. I'm still learning Christianity right now.
Fair enough.
Because I'm studying both Islam and Christianity.
Sure.
And obviously, I want to know that Islam is the truth.
Yeah.
But obviously, if I want to know that's the truth, I need to study all the other religions.
That's totally fine. So do you have any questions about Christianity then that I can help you with while you're here?
I mean, I've seen a lot of contradictions that people say.
Such as?
Something
Thank you.
like this. So Joab gave the sum of the number of the people to the king, and
Yep.
there were in Israel 800,000 valiant men
Yep.
who drew the sword,
Yep.
and the men of Judah were 500,000 men. That's in 2 Samuel.
Right, so that's not a contradiction, because the first reference says the valiant men of the sword. So he was talking there, he was counting the trained warriors. In the second reference, he's just counting every one who could bear a sword. So that included soldiers who weren't trained. So those are two different numbers, so that's not a contradiction. But let's cut to something much deeper, because Muslims teach other Muslims that they shouldn't follow the Bible because the Bible's got contradictions, and you've just shown me one there, right? So if I could show you a contradiction in the Qur'an, doesn't that mean that the Qur'an's false?
Yeah.
Right. According to the Qur'an, how do you know when to start your fast?
How do I know?
Yeah.
Oh, when the moon comes out or something like that.
No, you start your fast when the sun
Oh,
rises.
yeah, when the sunrise and the sun sets, yeah.
Yeah, and the Quran states that. It says that, you know, it says that when the white line appears on the horizon and you can spot white from dark, and that's when you begin your fast until sunset. Okay, right? So that's what Allah says you should start your fast with. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. The Quran also says that when Allah and His Messenger have decreed a thing, that it is not fitting for a Muslim man or woman to have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Do you recognize that verse?
I think I know what verse you're talking about.
Yeah. Do you need me to show you either of those verses, or are you happy that I'm fairly representing the Quran?
Just the first one, because I haven't had
Okay, so let's do that. Yeah, have you got your Quran with you?
I've got the app, the translated version.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, at some point, bro, we'll probably get interrupted,
Yeah.
you know. But when that happens, I want you to stick with me, and I want you to focus on what I'm saying and not what other people are trying to interrupt with. Okay? Right. So if we go, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So in Surah 2, 187,
Yes.
it says, eat and drink until the white thread of dawn becomes distinct from the black, then fast to the night.
So eat and drink until the white thread of dawn becomes distinct from the black. Yeah.
So Allah has made it very clear about how you fast, has He not?
Yeah.
And Allah also says that if Allah has decreed a thing, it's not right for Muslims to have an opinion on it. Is that also correct? Or do you need me to show you that verse? Are you happy with?
What verse was that one? You said the
So
second one?
I'll show you. I think it's in Surah 33.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Let me pull it up. Okay. So in Surah 33, If you move a bit closer, Brad, I promise I had a bath this morning. Right?
33, 36.
33, 36. And what does it say?
It's not for a believing man or a believing woman when Allah and His Messenger have decided the matter that they should thereafter have any choice about their affair. Whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger has certainly strayed into clear error.
Right. So Allah is saying you can't have an opinion on something that Allah has clearly decreed.
Yeah.
Has Allah clearly decreed when you should start your fast?
Yeah.
So what do you do in Greenland when the sun doesn't rise and the sun doesn't set? What do Muslims do? Who do they go to?
Scholar.
And what does the scholar do? He gives an opinion. So Muslims are directly contradicting their own Qur'an. Now that's an example of Muslims contradicting their Qur'an, because the Qur'an didn't know that the world was round and that the sun only rises and sets in certain places, not everywhere. So the Qur'an is directly contradicting nature. How is it possible that the direct words of Allah could contradict the direct works of Allah? That the works of His hands should contradict the words of His book?
I'm confused. What's the question?
So the Quran thinks that everywhere around the world the sun rises and sets the same.
Yeah.
And it decrees how Muslims should keep the fast.
I think so.
Yeah, we've just read it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So how does a Muslim follow that injunction in Greenland where the sun doesn't rise and set? Now, more to the point, why does Muhammad not know that the ruling in the Quran actually does not apply to different parts of the world? Because don't you believe as a Muslim that the one who created the world also gave you the book?
Yeah.
So how can the book contradict the author of the world?
Yeah. Well, you see the verse that you said about 33, 36. That one was talking about the marriage of Zainab, the Prophet's daughter.
Yep.
And how she was going to get married to the Prophet's companion.
Yep.
His name is Zayd.
Yep.
Yeah. And Zainab's family didn't like him, didn't like the Prophet.
Yep.
So that meant that that verse was revealed to them, or to him, and then he revealed it to them, and then they went on with the proposal.
Right. Hold on one second. Just think about that. You called her the Prophet's daughter.
Yeah.
Did the Prophet marry her?
No.
Are you sure?
The Prophet married his daughter.
The Prophet married his cousin, his first cousin. So what actually happened, the full story, you can find it in Al-Tahari volume 8. And what happened is Muhammad visits the house of Zayd, and Zainab is in a state of undress. She's not fully clothed. And Muhammad sees her and he finds her enticing, let's say. He likes what he sees. Okay? Now, up to this point, Muhammad had arranged for Zainab to marry Zayd.
Yeah.
Zainab was his cousin.
Zainab was whose cousin?
Zainab was the cousin of Muhammad, and Zayd was
Zainab was the daughter of Muhammad.
No, cousin. First cousin.
That was for Zayd.
Zayd was his adopted son. You've got it mixed up. Zayd was the adopted son of Muhammad, and Zainab was the cousin of Muhammad. And then so what you've got here is the fact that Muhammad lusted after a married woman. Now, is it a sin or not a sin to desire a married woman?
No.
It's not a sin.
Unless you act upon it.
Okay, unless you act upon it. So then Muhammad has this sudden revelation from Allah which says, "Behold, thou didst say to one who had received the grace of Allah and thy favour, retain thou thy wife and fear Allah." So initially Muhammad said, because Zayd then, when he discovered this, Zayd came to Muhammad and said, "I'll divorce Zainab." And Muhammad said, no, keep your wife. And then Allah is revealing this verse in connection to that moment. So he's repeating what Muhammad said, yeah? But thou didst hide in thy heart that which Allah was about to make manifest. So what did he desire in his heart? Well, he desired Zainab, right? So this woman who was married to his own adopted son, he now desires to marry. And then Allah goes on to say, thou did fear the people, but it is more fitting that thou fear Allah. Then when Zayd had dissolved his marriage with her, with the necessary formality, we joined her in marriage to thee.
Was that a verse in the Qur'an? Or?
Yeah, that's Surah 33, Ayah 37. So you can check it yourself. Now for me, I have lots of problems with this.
Wait, Bob, let him read it first. Let him read it.
Okay.
I can what's the word?
See, did you remember I said we'd be interrupted?
Yeah, I can understand you on.
Yeah.
Why you lie? Why you lie? Why you lie? You said the Prophet Muhammad desired her. Is that in text? You're a liar. Is that in text? Read the verse in with voice. Read the verse, and we will see how Bob is such a liar.
Now I told you that I would be interrupted,
Okay, read the text.
and I advised you to stay focused on our conversation. Yeah? Because this is the manners of the da'i here in the corner. Now notice how rude they're being. Yeah? So you've just got to focus on our conversation now and try your best to ignore him.
Let him read it.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah.
Muhammad, when you said to one on whom Allah bestowed the favor and you bestowed favor, keep your wife and fear Allah, while you concealed within yourself that which Allah is to disclose, and you feared the people while Allah has more right for you that you fear Him. So when Zayd had no longer any need for her, we married her to you in order that there not be upon the believers any discomfort concerning the wives of their adopted sons when they no longer have need.
Their adopted sons.
Yeah.
So you see, I'm not lying.
Where the Prophet Muhammad
Do you see what I'm saying?
You said he
Now I'm
desired
going to
her.
show
Did
you.
he lie to you?
I'm going to
You
show
said
you
Prophet, he
that
desired
Muhammad desired
Brother,
her.
brother.
So in
Did he lie to
Sahih,
you
now
and he said
focus
that
on me,
Prophet
because I did
Muhammad
say we'd get
desired her?
interrupted. Yeah, focus on me.
She's gonna show
No,
you.
yeah, focus on me. If you engage him, he's just going to interrupt more. Focus on our
No,
conversation.
brother,
Yeah.
already he
Right,
lied.
make a decision for yourself, not to
Where
be
is in the
pressured. This
verse
happens at the
that
corner.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam
Yeah.
desired her?
Okay.
That
So let
show
me
you how
in
much you
Sahih
lie,
al
because
Bukhari
now that you don't
4
know, and he wants to lie to you.
I think it's either 4788, 4788. We read these. Are you listening? Are you listening?
I claim that. Tell him to
Those
debate on that.
ladies,
If he has
Aisha
the man,
said,
I will prove
I
to him
used
that
to
he
look
lied
down
to
upon
woman.
those
He
ladies
permit a woman
who
to
had
massage
given
him if you read
themselves
Mark.
to
He permit
Allah's
a woman to
messenger,
massage him.
and I
He
used to
let
say,
prostitute. He
can a
will massage
lady
him. Will
give
you permit to
himself?
massage Lubayt
Can a
woman?
lady give herself?
Why you not talk about that,
But
Bob?
when
Why you not
Allah
talk about
revealed
the
Surah
biblical God?
33:51,
Why you not talk
I
about
said,
the
this is
biblical
Aisha,
God? When he permits
I
woman to
feel
spend
your
time with
Lord
him.
hastens
biblical
in
God
fulfilling
permits you to do
your
that?
wishes.
How you
So
biblical
what
God
did Allah
permits
do
a
for
woman, a
Muhammad?
prostitute, to massage him?
So this is in Sahih al Bukhari 4788. What is it that Muhammad? What was it that Allah did for Muhammad?
Bob, answer this.
What was it?
Answer this. Answer
Hey,
this.
what was the
I'm claiming that your biblical
Sahih
God
al-Bukhari,
permits prostitutes to massage
4788.
his body, like Mark said.
Right?
Show me I'm wrong.
So
Prove to me that I'm wrong.
Aisha said, your Lord hastens to answer your wishes. What did Allah do?
Can you answer that,
What did
Bob? Can
Allah
you answer
do
that?
for Muhammad?
Can you answer that?
According
Can
to
you answer
Surah
that?
33:51.
From the verse
Bro,
that
focus on our conversation. This guy is just not going to stop.
Answer my question.
This is
Answer
the
my
manners of
question.
the Dawa
Answer my
team.
question. Answer
This
my
is the
question.
manners of people
Because
pushing
he don't
Islam.
know- Because he
So
don't know,
answer-
you know,
focus on what it
we
says.
know that you go to debate the people who
So
don't know
in
nothing.
Surah, brother,
Can
did you
you-
come to me or did I come to
Can
you?
you? Can you
Did-
prove to
did you-
these people
did-
how your
you came to
biblical
me
God, he
exactly.
permit
Right. Focus
a
on our
prostitute
conversation.
to massage
Yeah?
him? Can you prove to him?
So in Surah
Can you show him that?
33:51,
Can
I'm
you
just
show
going
him
to have to raise
Be
my
a
voice.
sincere, be a man of word.
In
and show
Surah
him that your biblical
33,
God- that your biblical God. You see now.
Ayah
Screen.
51.
Can you?
One second.
What's the
Let's
problem?
focus.
What's the problem?
right?
Muslim
Yeah.
was a prostitute.
Yes.
And there is any
Yes.
problem with it.
Yes, this is a big
What
problem.
is lesser
This
than a woman?
is your God example.
Is
Thou
lesser-
mayest defer any of them
Biblical God example
that
for
thou
humanity.
pleasest, and thou mayest receive any thou pleasest, and there is no blame on thee if thou invite one of those that hast set aside. This were nigher to the cooling of the eyes, the prevention of their grief and their satisfaction, that all of them which thou hast given them, and Allah knows, that is in your hearts, and Allah is all-knowing. Come and just step this way, bro. Yeah, come and step this way, right? So, in this surah, Allah is saying that the marriage between Zainab and Muhammad is legal.
He's a coward. He can't
Right,
accept
that's
that.
the desire in Muhammad's heart that Aisha says Allah is
That he's a
quick
coward.
to fulfill your desires.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. That's
Yes, because Muhammad married Zainab.
Answer me. Answer me.
Now, is that
Did he
right?
prove to you? Did he prove to you that the
Is that
the
right?
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he desired her or not?
If what you're saying is true, then no.
Yes, exactly. So what you
Did
need
he
to
show-
do
did he show you the
is
proof?
look at
Did he
the
prove to you
story
that how his biblical
in
God
Al-Tabari.
He permit a prostitute to massage him.
So in
Did he prove to
Al-Tabari,
you? Ask him
focus on
that.
me, just
Ask him
ignore
that.
this guy.
Ask him that. Ask
Like,
him
do you
that.
think he's being
Ask
rude
him
right
that.
now?
Ask him that. I'm
Yes.
saying that. Ask him that.
Right.
Ask him that.
No, hold on,
Ask
brother.
him
Brother,
that
brother.
how your
Shall we stop
biblical
our
God-
conversation? Because do you want to talk
What
to
is
him
it?
now,
No,
or
no,
do you
no,
want to
because
stop?
Now you want to ask him.
No, no,
Question,
brother.
question,
If you're going to
question,
just listen to
question,
him, we
question.
should stop.
Ask him how can your
Okay,
biblical God permit
brother.
a prostitute to massage him?
What I want to address here,
To massage
what I
his
want
body
to
like
address
Mark
here,
said.
what I
Can
want
he
to
answer
address
that? Can he
here,
answer that?
what
Can
I
he
want to
answer
address
that?
here
Why he
is the
hiding
fact
this
that
story
you
when he criticizes the
recognize
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
that
When
Muhammad,
he lies about you,
right,
he lies,
brother,
he
you
said-
can't focus right
he
now.
li- he
So let's
said
stop.
that Prophet
What I want to
Muhammad
give you
sallallahu alaihi
do,
wasallam,
what I
he
want to
desired the
do.
woman
What's your name,
when
bro?
he didn't.
Zaid, it was really nice talking
Did he
to you.
prove to you that?
I want to give
Did
you
he
a
prove to you
gift.
that?
I want to give you a gift.
Did he prove to you that?
Have you got a
Prophet
Bible?
Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he desired her. You are
have
such a
the
liar, Bob.
Bible, like,
You see how he's the coward.
You have Bible Gateway. But I want to give you an actual gift, right? I want to give you an actual gift. Yeah.
I'm not going.
Okay.
Can you explain to him how your biblical God?
So here's a Gospel of Mark.
Can you
Have
explain to him?
a read of
Can
that.
you-
That's my gift to you.
No,
You've
no,
been
ask
very
him, ask
polite
him
and you've
question.
been very
He talk about your
civilized.
prophet.
And I
He
want
talk
to thank
about your
you.
prophet.
Okay?
Can you prove
Now,
to
I want to
can you ask
remind
him
you,
a
bro, that
question?
you
Can
said
ask him a question?
that the moral teachings of Jesus was greater than the moral teachings of Muhammad.
How? He permit a prostitute
Remember
to massage him.
when I
He
said
called
about
a woman
treating
dog.
people better than
He
you?
called a woman
This
dog.
is how
His
we
biblical
Christians
God.
are being treated across the Muslim world
He called,
right now.
No, that's
Yeah?
the way when he
So
come to you.
what I'm
when he
saying to
come
you, bro,
because he knows
is you've
that
got to
you
be
don't have
strong
knowledge.
to
That when he
separate
come
yourself
to
from
you,
the pressure of people
answer
like
the
him.
question, answer
From
the
the
question,
pressure
answer
of
the
people
question.
like him.
Prove to him,
Yeah?
prove to him that your
Okay?
biblical God.
You've looked at my evidence.
Show him,
Consider
prove
it.
to him.
Consider
how
it
can
for
your biblical
yourselves.
God permit
Okay?
a prostitute to
You look
massage
after
him?
yourself.
Can you
All right,
answer
God
that, Bob?
bless.
Can you
God
answer
bless.
that?
And
Can you
you
answer
know,
that?
come back and ask me another question. I
shy
warned
of
you that this
his
would
biblical
happen.
God.
Did I not warn you
He's
that this
shy
would
of his
happen?
biblical God.
Because they're
He's
very
shy.
predictable.
Mm.
Yeah?
You say
They're very predictable.
He can't
Yeah.
talk. He
God
can't
bless
talk
you.
about the Prophet
Okay.
Muhammad sallallahu alaihi
So
wasallam.
now let
They
me
don't
answer
want-
your
they
question,
don't
Sam.
want no one-
So
no
now
one
let me
to
answer
talk.
your
No one
question,
to-
Sam.
no one
So
to
you
talk.
quoted the Bible when Jesus allowed a prostitute to massage his feet.
Go ahead, go ahead.
That's what he said.
Go ahead, yes.
And he said that we Christians, and he even said it like we Christians should be ashamed of
Yes.
this.
And they want you to quote.
And the
Numbers
reality
31,
is,
31,
brothers and
17,
sisters,
18. I want
that
to
our
quote
Lord,
Numbers 31,
now notice he
17
asked
and
the
18.
question,
I want you
but
to
the
quote
Dawa
Numbers 31,
Gandhist
17.
can't even
ahead,
listen
go
to the
ahead.
answer.
No,
He
but
can't
you want
even
to
listen
be
to the
question
answer.
When I was talking about
Our Lord
then-
allowed a prostitute to massage his feet. Why?
he said,
Why?
You're liar. He said
Because
his body.
anyone
His body.
from the lowest
Yes.
person
Mark, he said
to the highest person
about what Mark
can
has
serve the Lord
I'm
Jesus
talking about
Christ.
what Mark has said.
Your social
Mark said-
status
Your Mark
is
said
no
his
hindrance
body.
to
Mark
serving
That's
the Lord
quality
Jesus
of
Christ.
This is the quality
At his
of God.
birth,
How he can serve
kings
himself.
came
That's
to offer
clear.
gifts.
Why you not quote Mark?
But
Quote Mark.
our Lord
Mark.
allowed a prostitute
Mark.
to wash his feet
No, he said
with
the body.
incense
He said the
and and tears,
What Mark said.
and to dry them with his hair. Notice how the Muslims behave in the park.
Look how we behave.
This is how we will be treated when Muslims dominate any area. This is why Muslims tried to kill Nissa Hussein in Bradford, England. This is why Muslims tried to kill and did kill a Coptic priest in Egypt 2 days ago because of the hate-filled attitudes that you just witnessed with your own eyes. Now let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen. I am not saying that every Muslim that you meet is a hate-filled Muslim. No, I am not saying this. I have met good Muslims. I have been friends with good Muslims. I've even dated good Muslim women. But, ladies and gentlemen, the Qur'an and the Hadiths, the Islamic sources of Islamic law, denigrate Christians to being second-class citizens. Don't believe me. Think I am lying. Go and check with the Coptic Christians of Egypt. Go and ask the Christians of Pakistan. Go and ask the Christians of Indonesia. Go and ask the Christians of Malaysia. Go and ask the Christians of northern Nigeria. Go and ask the Christians of Syria and Iraq. Go and ask the Christians of Afghanistan. All of these people are persecuted as second-class citizens. In Saudi Arabia, your own government website tells you that expressions of religion other than Islam are strictly forbidden. And you see that same kind of hate-filled attitude being expressed by this Muslim right here. Ladies and gentlemen, Christians under Islamic law are second-class citizens. If we oppose a racial apartheid in South Africa, why can we not oppose a religious system that would denigrate Christians and Jews to second-class citizens under Islamic law? In Islamic law, if a Muslim chooses to become a Christian, they will be executed. Executed for making a choice that all of you take for granted. Ladies and gentlemen, your media and your politicians and you virtue signaling celebrities are lying to you when they tell you that all religions teach the same. They do not teach the same. They do not have the same values. They do not teach the same beliefs. In the Old Testament, it says that foreigners should be treated like the native born. That is the Christian understanding of equality before the law. But in Islamic law, we Christians would be made second-class citizens. That is our experience over 1,400 years of living under Islamic law. Don't believe me. Think I am lying. Well, go and ask the Greeks. Go and ask the Romanians. Go and ask the Turkish Christians. Ladies and gentlemen, you must make a choice. whether you will be the sheep of the media and the government, or whether you will free your mind of the lies of the progressive hypocrites who consistently try to malign Christians who are persecuted by saying, well, all religions do it. All religions are the same. They ignore the plight of Christians in Egypt. They ignore the plight of Christians in Pakistan. They ignore the plight of Christians across the entire Islamic world. A world that is not united by ethnicity, is not united by government or economics or culture or language. The one unifying principle in all of these lands is that they reference Islam as a basis for their legal system. Ladies and gentlemen, educate yourselves about the plight of persecuted Christians. Educate yourselves about what it means to be a dhimmi. And do not be weak in tolerating injustice. Do not be a coward in speaking out against it or standing up for the rights of Christians across the Islamic world. Any questions? Any questions going once? Any questions going twice? Any questions going 3 times? Okay.